What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel, and I'm really excited to be starting this episode review series because we are talking about She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, and I have a very good friend here to talk about it with. So I want to welcome in and welcome back my good friend Simi's Art.
Hi.
Hello. Welcome back.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, it really has been.
I think.
Like last year, right?
Yeah. Well, it's good to do this again.
It really is. I'm really excited to get back into doing this. And so I'm really a big fan of She-Hulk. So when the show came out, I was like, I'm probably gonna do this again for the show because I really love She-Hulk, and so
Because I was really nervous about She-Hulk because I'm such a big fan of her in the comic books. But there's been a lot of people that are unhappy with, her design and her CGI and everything, that I was really skeptical about watching it. But I'm really enjoying it so far. So, yeah.
Me too. It's kind of hard not to look at all the hate and everything behind it. But my theory is you should just watch something for yourself and form your own opinion.
Yeah.
And everyone's entitled to their own opinion. So
yeah.
But anyway, so what was your first introduction into She-Hulk, like as the character, like before we get into the show?
So I started reading She-Hulk because actually I'm more of a fan of She-Hulk than I am actual Hulk. I much prefer her to Hulk. So I was always interested in her. I think it's because she's just a female, and I really struggled to, for me, how can I explain this? So for me, I really struggle personally to connect with female characters. I'm much more of, I really love the male characters in shows and books and films where there's a small group of female characters that I really love, and She-Hulk is one of them. And I think I've decided that I kind of have a little bit of a personality like She-Hulk, which is probably bad because maybe people think that I get angry a lot, but I don't. Maybe just a little, but yeah, I find it really funny actually. I started reading a lot of her comic books. Probably it was actually in my teenager, so I've been reading her stuff for a while.
Yeah. As I said earlier in the Instagram live, I had just gotten this run by Dan Slott.
It's on the way. I've ordered it. It's really
yeah. So and I've been wanting to read it for a long time, and I finally got it.
Yeah.
I think the show really takes a lot out of that run.
Yeah.
Which I think is pretty cool. But for me, my first introduction into She-Hulk was the John Byrne run of the Fantastic Four, back from the 80s, because she was part of the team at the time. So that was my first introduction to her, and that's when I really got to know her as a character, just a little bit, because she didn't show up a whole lot, but
Yeah.
it was she just really intrigued me as a character. And like over the years I've gotten more like She-Hulk comics. Like occasionally I would just grab one if I saw it. And and then recently the new She-Hulk run that came out, and the Dan Slott run as well. So
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, because I find as well with She-Hulk comics, I really like the color scheme. So, like, say for example, this one,
mhm.
even the cover itself is it just really works well. I think, and it's nice. I like it.
Yeah, and like one of the things I think about when I think of the character of She-Hulk herself, or even just Jennifer Walter, she's very like how do I explain this? She's a very fun character overall, and I think that kind of vibe is kind of being brought to life in the show. I don't know if you would agree that with
Yeah,
that, because like um, so I am really happy about that. Like they brought that same vibe from the comics into the show as well. So I'm really excited to see more. Like
yeah. Because as well, I really like what they're doing with the show. Oh, is obviously because she's a female and she's the lead, which is
mhm,
nice. It's quite rarely happen, and
mhm,
is nice. Like when it does happen. But I feel like a lot of girls and women can identify with a lot of stuff that's going on within the show. So there's a few scenes actually where she talks about how like a like because she's a woman, like her struggles and her issues with being a woman, just with daily with a daily life or a job and stuff, and I really like that. It's
yeah.
good.
Like I think us as women, like we connect a lot with that when she says stuff like that. Like even when she like was talking to Bruce about like controlling her anger
Yeah,
and
that was a really good
like
scene.
yeah, so like she's like she tells him I don't really need to control my anger as much as you do because I do it like infinitely more than you do because it's the kind of stuff she has to deal with, like not just being a lawyer in a predominantly male like profession, but like um just like she said, being catcalled on the street and like having to like stand her ground because if she doesn't, she'll get called emotional or difficult, whatever.
I'd like to see more of that. A lot more.
Yeah, most definitely. Um, okay, so like, so the first episode I thought was a really solid one to start the series. It was called A Normal Amount of Rage, and I think that's a pretty good title, to be honest.
Yeah.
Um, so, how would you rate this episode?
I always struggle with rating an episode, so I would give it a 7 out of 10. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
uh, I I would I would give it like an 8 because like I mean most of the episode honestly is kind of what we saw in like the trailers leading up to the premiere.
yeah,
Like a good chunk of it was stuff we already saw, which was still cool, but they they did add the few extra scenes in there that really made the episode uh, worth it. And so
yeah. I agree. Which like it makes me more excited for the rest of the episodes because a lot of the stuff we've seen in the trailers, so it means that there's a lot more that we haven't seen that they don't want to spoil us. So it's exciting.
Yeah. And I know like and I'm pretty sure like when the premiere happened, like the press and some other people got to see like the first 4 episodes.
Yeah,
So
I heard that.
like I'm like I just want more. So like um I'm just gonna just go through my notes here and
Yeah.
go through the episode. Um so to start off, we see Jen practicing her closing argument for this case that she's on, which we ultimately see at the end of the episode. Um, she's practicing her closing argument, and I like she is really compelling in my opinion because like her talking about like the responsibility of those with superpowers and like they sometimes feel like they're above the law, but they're not, and they have the most to answer for when
Yeah.
stuff happens. And so like, what's your opinion about her coworker, her paralegal, Nikki?
Yeah. Mm. I find, yeah, I don't think I prefer Jennifer a lot more, and I understand her way. If that makes any sense, if I'm making any sense at all.
Oh,
Yeah, interesting. That's all I can probably say.
yeah,
Yeah,
I mean she is a new character, so
yeah,
it it might take us a few episodes to like really get to know her.
yeah,
But I mean, I think the only thing that matters is that she seems like a really good friend to Jennifer, so that's always a good thing to see.
yeah. She seems nice.
But anyway, during that opening scene, we see Jennifer break the fourth wall for the first time and directly talk to us. And
But
then it goes into
it's
that whole
always
road
when
trip, the road trip flashback with Bruce, and we get to see her how she got her powers in the first place, which I think it's kind of interesting how she got her powers in
yeah,
this show, despite her origin story in the comics, because in the comics she ended up getting shot by a mob assassin, and then Bruce gave her a blood transfusion. So
yeah, within this, it was the car crash, which I found interesting.
mhm.
But I feel like that's it in as well. It has a lot more. Um, it's a lot more interesting, and because of the ship, when the crash, because I think it
Mhm.
has a connection. I can't remember what it's connected to. Is it in Thor or it's in something I've seen the ship before? I can't remember what it's
it's
called. It has a
it,
name.
it's in Thor
Uh,
Ragnarok.
yeah, it's in but I've seen it. So I really like when it has the little connections and it's cool.
Yeah, because I know Bruce says later in the episode that when he mentions the Sicarian ship again, he's like, "That's probably something I'm gonna have to deal with." So it's I mean, of course, we don't really know why they were there in the first place. It just showed up out of nowhere and they made him crash. And so I hope that we find more answers around that later on in the series. So, but anyway, after of course after she crash the car crash happens, that's when her blood gets mixed with Bruce's and she transforms for the first time and she goes off into the forest by herself and ends up passing out. um, then she wakes up and finds some bar and like I found the bathroom scene kind of funny in some way. Like when all those women came in and found her, they were like, "Girl, what happened to you?"
Yeah, that was.
And then like immediately after she leaves the bar, like those three guys come out and
Yeah.
like start talking to her, and she clearly doesn't want to.
Yeah, I found that scene. It was actually a really good scene because I loved, when she turned around and transformed, and then
Mhm.
Hulk stopped her. I wanted to
Yeah.
see. I wanted to see her absolutely destroy them.
Yeah.
I wanted like instantly, like to punch them in the face.
I know. Like, I love how they reacted to it. They were, like, holding on to the other guy.
It's the wrong person to do that with too.
I know.
It's funny.
Picked the wrong girl,
Yeah, I found that
definitely.
interesting.
Um, so after that, she ends up waking up in Bruce's, remote lab/house in Mexico.
Yeah, that is like a dream paradise.
I
Like,
know.
nobody will be stressed living there. So
Right?
no wonder he's not like the full Hulk anymore because he lives
Mhm.
there. There's no reason to be stressed.
Yeah. That's he's completely by himself, so he doesn't have to worry about anything. Um, but, he mentions that he spent some time there trying to integrate his normal self and then his Hulk persona during the blip, right? And also he mentions Tony, so
Yeah, yeah. Like, it always makes it sad when the characters that have passed away have to mention, and
I
it just
know. And then
it is.
later on in in his bar had his initials and Tony's initials in there too. I was like, oh, oh, Tony. But like, did you catch the Iron Man helmet that
Yeah,
was sitting there?
yeah, that was nice.
Love how they throw those little Easter eggs in there.
Yeah. I wanna talk about an Easter egg as well, but I'll wait till you talk about episode 2 because in my mind, and I'm not home.
Yeah,
But yeah,
we'll get to that.
wait, I think you know what I'm gonna say. But yeah, but
Yep.
this is like in the first episode, well, in both of them, but I really like the relationship between Bruce and Jennifer. I just think it's really nice, and it's something that because I'm not a huge Hulk fan. I mean, I'm his fan, but like he's not one of my characters that
Yeah.
is, like on a pedestal who I absolutely love. I find him really interesting, and I really like the way that they talk to each other. I think they're really
Mhm.
sweet, and it's a really nice relationship.
Yeah, you can definitely tell that they're cousins. Like, with the banter back and forth between them is just great.
Yeah, it is.
Like, when Bruce tells her that, like, "You got exposed to a lethal amount of gamma radiation." And she's like, "Lethal? As in I'm gonna die?" And he's like, "No, no, no. I was gonna explain more." And she's like, "That's not the sentence to pause on, Bruce." Yeah, and, like, even after, like, the part where he's trying to figure out when she, transforms, like, the trigger and everything, when she's in that, chamber with the helmet on.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
I know.
Like the blades and everything are coming at you. No, no, no.
Yeah, she was like, "What do you use this for, you psychopath?" And that's, ultimately when she transforms and utterly, like, destroys it and throws the door into the wall, and just is like growling and yelling, and like he's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Hold on. And like I found that interaction like one of the funniest ones.
Yeah.
Because he's like he doesn't know that she's uh that she's still Jen. He's
Yeah.
assuming that she is like her Hulk persona, like kind of like him.
Because I really find it hilarious that when she's walking towards him and he's going like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa," and then she looks at him and I think she says like, "I'm not a horse." Like,
Yeah,
don't
like why are you talking to me like I'm a stray horse?
like he looks as if to say, "Well, that's how people talk to me when I was a horse," and it's really funny. But yeah, it's because it's his face as well, like, because I
Yeah,
find it interesting that because with Hulk, obviously, like, he's Hulk, or he was Hulk, and then he's Bruce,
yeah,
so you have 2 different people, 2 different
hmm
personalities, where with Jen, it's kind of like 1 sort of, or 1.5, maybe.
yeah,
It's
and
interesting.
yeah, that's always been one of the things that sets them apart,
Yeah,
and that's really what I find a lot more interesting about She-Hulk, to be honest. Like she's just still Jennifer Walters in some way when she's in her She-Hulk form. Like she still has her like her own mind, her intelligence, all that is still the same. So I've always liked that about her character.
yeah. Because as well, I really like that it can be She-Hulk, like, as a lawyer, and that's what I really like about it, so she can just go to work as She-Hulk. I mean,
Yeah.
I get a lot of stares and people a look. It's she yeah, it's interesting.
hmm
It'd be
Like
cool.
imagine walking into a courtroom, like just seeing her there and like, oh.
But yeah, it is interesting.
hmm But after Bruce realizes that she's still Jen, he's like, "Nah, I'm kind of jealous. Like, you don't have another guy to wrestle with for 10 years. So we can just skip that whole part of that manual, just throw it away." But after that, he tries to explain to Jen, like, you're not probably never going to have a normal life again because of what has happened to you. And of course, she straight up denies it. Like, I think I got this. I can do this. Like, I can go back to my life as a lawyer, and it's no big deal. I can deal with it. And there's one thing that Bruce says that like is I think we're gonna see maybe later in the series. He says that like once people see you as a monster, then that never really goes away. I mean, I think that that's one thing that she's hopefully will always keep in mind when she's in her She-Hulk form, because once she loses it, then it's hard to say what will happen.
Yeah. But I have a theory because I think personally the way the show is gonna go, I really think that, uh, Bruce is gonna become the full Hulk again and potentially I I don't know, but I do honestly think that the Hulk will be the Hulk again. Because
Yeah,
it's really annoying that a lot of people are angry, just saying, "Oh, they don't like this, like, calm and mellow version of the Hulk," and it's just enjoy what's being made. Just enjoy it and see how it
yeah.
pans out, basically. But
I
I do
mean,
like he is gonna be the Hulk, even if it's just for a bit. But yeah,
mhm.
I do think that he is. I really hope that he doesn't hurt She-Hulk. So maybe there could be a bit of a where he's because even though he's not the Hulk yet, because obviously he's mastered or kind of mastered, like
Mhm.
himself. I feel like there's going to be a point, maybe towards the end, that he's going to be full Hulk, and maybe something's going to happen there. Well, I don't know. I could just be
I
guessing,
mean,
but
yeah, and I mean that's an interesting theory.
I
Like,
feel like there's a lot of stuff that is pointing towards him who's in his control because it's, again, he's two different people, and I always feel like the Hulk is always trying to escape, sort of.
mhm,
Yeah, that's how I see. That's how I see Bruce. Like he can never escape his Hulk side because it can't
yeah,
just be him as the calmer version forever. Maybe I don't know.
yeah. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, hopefully I'm. Yeah, that's what
I
I
mean it,
feel like.
and it could have something to do with the Sicarian people that came back for him. I mean, that may have something to do with it. I mean, because he literally spent 2 years on that planet as Hulk, and we don't know what happened during those 2 years. I mean, he became a champion for the Grandmaster. That's pretty much all we know. And even during that time, he was just being like pushed into all those contest of champion fights. So, I mean, I think I kind of would like to see like a fight between Bruce and Jen, like
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
in some way. I just hope that it's not too brutal, but I don't see Disney doing that. But
You never know. They may do a little bit of it.
I guess we'll see. But we still have like 7 more episodes. So
Yeah, which is a
at this
lot.
point, we don't really know what will happen.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So after that, uh, Bruce convinces Jen to let him train her at how to beat a Hulk. So we get that whole training montage on the beach, and that I mean,
It was really funny that they were it's a big competition, like who's the strongest, and they were just throwing stuff, and then when she
yeah,
threw
just
something and it was like a big rock, and then the trees fell, and his face was like, "Well, I can do better than that." I mean, like he did, but she gave it a good try, and it was good. That yeah, I like that scene.
yeah, like the look on his face he when he was like bouncing on his hands, and then she's like doing a full on handstand, and then just all that, and oh, that was pretty funny. And how he just like knocks her off the cliff, and she's like, "Not cool, man, not cool." But then he shows her on the flip side that they can drink a bunch of alcohol and not get drunk.
It
And
was
then
actually
it's,
interesting, and I didn't know that. So yeah,
I mean, they have, I mean, it makes sense. They have a different metabolism than normal people. So they can drink so much and not get drunk or anything. And then it shows this huge pile of all those alcohol bottles, and again, they're like that whole conversation about Captain America's virginity.
hilarious. Because it made it worse because after the episode, that's all anyone could talk about. All the names of like I can't remember So everyone was saying that it was the blonde woman, and
Hmm.
it was, I think it was like, I can't remember who she's related to. I think it was one of the Guardians. I think it was
Star
Quill.
Lord.
Yeah, so everyone was saying that it was like his grandmother, and
Yeah.
like that's what you got from that episode. That's what you got. It was so funny,
Oh my gosh.
and then that's all she could talk about.
I know. Like, as funny as I thought those scenes or those moments were, and like I'm being a huge fan of Captain America, it was hilarious to me. um, but at the same time, I felt like um, some of that was like kind of like forced
Yeah,
in the episode, if that makes any sense. Like it wasn't exactly necessary for the story, but
but it
they
was
just threw it in there.
yeah like an added extra of just like let's just make everybody speculate and assume who it is.
And I feel like the Marvel's been doing a lot of that lately, like forcing a lot more humor into
Yeah,
their movies and TV shows,
which I
which,
kind of like, but
yeah,
I don't like because I don't like too much of it where it's
yeah,
constant. Like
yeah,
when I watched Thor, Love and Thunder,
yeah,
I
me
was
too.
really disappointed with that film because
Yeah,
obviously I'm such a Thor fan that
yeah,
I had such high hopes, and I didn't hate the film. I could never hate Marvel, but I think it was my
yeah,
least favorite Marvel, or it was really down there. And I walked out thinking like it was just trying to be really funny all the time, and I was just waiting for the more action scenes and more fight
hmm,
scenes, and a bit more serious. And
yeah,
I like that with Marvel, where it can be funny and stuff, but I do think it depends on the character. So if it's a character that's not
yeah,
funny at all, that doesn't have like a sense of humor or anything, it doesn't
hmm,
really work. I think with She-Hulk, it works because of her
yeah,
character,
hmm,
uh, which I really like. But yeah,
yeah,
with Thor, for me, it didn't work at all. It was a bit too much.
yeah. I remember like even with like the first Thor movie, like it there were a couple jokes in there, but not like a lot.
Yeah,
Like he used to be like really like serious, like let's go get him character, and now they're throwing all those jokes in there.
yeah, because
But it's
it was really weird because there was a scene in it where, the kids got kidnapped, and he made a big joke out of a bunch of kids getting kidnapped, and it wasn't a serious discussion, and everyone laughed, and I didn't. I was just like, "Oh, okay, that's
yeah.
fine." But yeah, I was like, "Marvel yeah, come on."
Yeah,
But
but
like, I do like with the shape. I really, really like the actress, because I don't actually know her from anything. As an actress, she's quite new to me. Hey, so the first
yeah,
episode of being introduced to the actress, I really,
yeah,
really like her. I think she's great, and
yeah,
yeah,
I
yeah,
agree.
I'm excited for more because I don't know her as an actor. I don't like watch anything with her in other than this.
I I haven't seen anything with her in it either, but
Yeah,
I do know that she was part of a series called Orphan Black.
yeah, it's on
I,
Netflix, I think. Yeah, I've heard that. But I
yeah,
haven't watched it.
and I'm pretty sure it's about like her playing like a bunch of different characters all at the same time.
Yeah,
So that I find that really interesting. I'm probably gonna check it out at
yeah.
some point. But like I think she I think she portrays Jen really well. Like I really like her.
Yeah, I do.
Like the chemistry that she has with with Bruce more specifically. I think she nails it. Where was I? Okay, so kind of already talked about like the scene where they talk about all the anger management stuff and all that. So I'm just gonna skip over that. So after that scene, she goes to leave the island because she thinks she has a handle on the whole transformation and everything. So Bruce is desperately trying to get her to reconsider and stay there, but she's definitely not interested in being a superhero. She wants to go back to her life as a lawyer, which is completely understandable because she spent all those years in law school trying to get her law degree, and so she just wants a normal life. And I believe during that argument she says, like, you spent like years going through all this trauma, why would you want that for me?
Yeah, that's right.
Like, so she tries to leave, and Bruce tries to stop her, but not to the point where he would like hurt her or anything. And then they ended up getting in that big fight on the beach and destroying his bar.
Yeah, that one was so upsetting.
He's like, no, the bar.
It was like, what's the point?
She's like, no, sorry.
He's not. He doesn't look happy.
But and then after that fight, she ends up breaking the fourth wall as She-Hulk for the first time. And like, I love Bruce's reaction after she says he doesn't mean that. He just like he turns as well and looks at the camera and it's like, who's she talking to?
It's really weird when they do that, though. I think like it kind of puts you off guard a lot. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
but
it's interesting.
I mean, I know in the comics that she broke the fourth wall in the comics long before Deadpool even did it.
Yeah,
So I kind of like that they're putting that into the show. I don't know, like, in what instances they're gonna do that, which we do see some of it in the second episode as well. But yeah. So then, Bruce finally lets her go back home, and it goes back to present day in her office, and then the whole courtroom scene where she was practicing her closing argument for her in the beginning. But what sucks is we didn't get to hear any of it because Titania comes plowing through the wall and interrupts everything.
I find the actress, I kind of find her annoying, but in a weird way, if that makes any sense. But yeah, he's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, like in the second episode, they describe her as a social media influencer. So I'm trying to figure out why she was even at the courthouse to begin with, which is, I'm sure we'll find the answer to that later on. But my guess is she's definitely going to be pretty mad at Jennifer for what she did. She just like flat out punched her and knocked her out. And honestly, I kind of found that flying kick kind of like weird.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone else found that, but that Jennifer just like punched her and that was it.
Well, because when she punched her, I just imagined like our first thought was, "Ow, that must have hurt," because she's Hulk.
Yeah.
It's not just an ordinary punch by
Yeah, that
accident. I was like, "That must have hurt. That's gonna leave a bruise."
yeah,
That
I
was
would say so.
yeah.
But also like seeing everyone's reaction when she transformed into She-Hulk.
I like that because I like
Yeah,
the clip after she transformed back into Jennifer, like with
yeah.
the I really like that. That was cool.
Yeah, I'm ready to give my closing argument now.
Yeah, I like that.
So, but yeah, that's basically it for episode 1. I mean, I'm not really sure what else to talk about other than what we did.
Yeah,
So, I mean, like I said, it's mostly what we saw in the trailers, which was pretty solid start in my opinion.
yeah, I agree. It was good.
So, moving on to episode 2, which I thought was a lot better at moving along the story, obviously. So I would definitely like my only complaint with it though is like the amount of time that it was. It was only like 22 minutes. It was so short.
But then I can't. Yeah, I agree. But then it kind of makes up because there's more episodes in this series.
True, true.
So, like, imagine if it was like when Loki, I think he only had 6.
Yeah, he did.
I'd be complaining if that was 20 minutes long because there's only
Yeah,
6 episodes. So it kind
yeah,
of makes it up for being a lot more. But yeah,
yeah,
I agree. A bit short. But I enjoyed it.
yeah. Me too. So I would give episode 2 like 8.5 or 9 maybe.
Yeah, I'll give it 8. I'll give it an 8.
Yeah. So to start off the episode, immediately goes to the aftermath of the courtroom incident with She-Hulk and Titania, and all the news outlets are covering the story, and they come up with the name She-Hulk. So
Yeah, that was a good thing. Cause I really liked that Bruce's reaction was like, "Oh, yeah, I really like that." Like, he really liked that name. But yeah, it was good.
then like she goes to this bar and like everyone's chanting like She-Hulk, She-Hulk, She-Hulk. And like everyone's there to like celebrate her and she's like this big name better not stick. Like she doesn't like it at all, which I find hilarious. But
Yeah,
uh, and like the part that like perplexed me about that whole scene was her coworker Dennis. Like the stuff that he said to her, like I think it was something along the lines of like you powering up like that in front of everyone was kind of like a selfish move, like right in the middle of court, like to put publicity on herself, like just like only you would think that. Like honestly, that was kind of rude, but
yeah,
whatever. And then the whole conversation between Jen and Nikki, like she's like, you could be an Avenger, and Jen's like, no, I don't want to be an Avenger. Like, do they even have health care or like do they get paid? Like, so it's I mean, maybe time down the line she'll consider being Avenger, which I'm hoping that's the case. But for right now, she's still against being an Avenger. So, like, immediately after that, she's confronted by her boss and basically just well, first she changes back into her normal form and just instantly gets drunk like that because she just took a shot as She-Hulk and it didn't affect her, and she transformed back and she falls on the floor. But like the sad part is she ends up getting laid off by her boss because of the whole courtroom incident, and like even though she saved the jury's life by saving them from a flying desk coming at them, uh, which was the right thing to do because they definitely would have gotten hurt from that. But they ended up losing the case because the opposing law firm GLK and H declared a mistrial. So
Because, well, it's interesting that, because imagine if she was an Avenger in that courtroom and she'd done exactly what she'd done, she wouldn't be told off or fired. You know, she'd be a hero. So it's
yeah,
quite interesting. It's quite interesting that, you know, she lost her job basically
yeah,
and got told off because she's not like, yeah, of course she's She-Hulk, but she's not a known superhero. She's not a superhero in this
yeah.
sense of people know her. So yeah, that's interesting.
hmm And also, it was the first time that she revealed her powers to everyone, so that probably played into that as
Yeah,
well. But also, it's sad that she ended up getting turned down for a bunch of jobs after that
yeah,
because of what she did. But then, um, after that, the opposing boss from GLK and H ended up confronting her and offering her a job at his firm, which is actually the same firm that she works for in this comic run by Dan Slott, which I find really cool. So like immediately she accepts, not like she's desperate at this point, which I can't say I blame her.
yeah.
But so while she's looking for a job, we see certain two Easter eggs, and I know is this what you were waiting for to talk about?
Because I find it hilarious because there's 2 Easter eggs, but nobody's talking about the second one
Yeah,
because I'm kind of less interested in that, which I think is really funny. Everyone is talking about the first Easter egg. So I don't know whether you want to see what the Easter eggs are, and I'll
yeah.
give my reaction.
Okay.
Because I
All right.
didn't see it the first time. I don't know why. I just mustn't have been paying attention.
Yeah.
And then the second time, I was like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah. To be honest, I didn't see it the first time either. I was just looking at the picture that was there.
Yeah, because it's on because it's not in a newspaper. It's on a screen, so I didn't really see it. It's well,
Yeah.
I just wasn't paying attention.
Yeah. So
2 Easter eggs.
yeah. So those two Easter eggs are the first one is man with metal claws in a bar brawl. And then immediately below it, it says, "Why is there a giant metal man coming out of the ocean?"
And can I just
Or
say as
something like
well,
that.
can I just say that it's really weird that they said that because in all the TV shows since the Eternals, which obviously is a reference for Eternals, if anybody doesn't
Yeah,
know that,
yeah.
nobody's mentioned the giant man in the ocean. Like, I think that'll be important.
I know, but it's
Nobody talks about it. It's oblivious to anything, and it's finally mentioned, which is nice. But yeah,
yeah,
I wonder
like
what they're gonna do. But yeah,
because that's something that definitely would get attention, obviously.
well, yeah, the first Easter egg was obviously for Wolverine.
Yeah, and
So I'll just say, people that don't know me, I have a lot of favorite characters, and it's all like I have my favorite comic book characters, my favorite MCU. So at the minute, I mean, if anybody's not shocked, but it's Loki. I love Loki, but my all-time favorite is Wolverine, and I love Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. He
me
just
too.
has a special place in my heart. I love him so much, and
Mhm.
I don't want him to be recast. I don't want anybody as Wolverine. So I think that I don't know what I think about that Easter egg because I was kind of hoping that it was going to be. So I have a theory that I love it to be true that in the MCU for the Wolverine, they don't actually use Wolverine as in Logan Wolverine. They use the X-23 as in Laura, his daughter.
Yeah,
I would love if they'd done that, only because I don't want any other actor to play Wolverine, and I'll be very angry.
yeah, I can understand that.
I'll be very, very angry, and I just honestly won't watch it. Um, and yeah, and I'll put the tent in a She-Hulk if that happens. I'll be happy. I will be very angry. I cannot control my anger. Um, but yeah, a man with claws in a bar fight. Yeah, I yeah, that was interesting, and I was quite shocked actually because I didn't expect it to say that. If because it's
Yeah,
kind of the first. Well, it isn't the first because obviously in Doctor Strange they introduced Charles Xavier, but it's from a different universe, X
yeah.
Men. But
Mhm.
in our universe, that is kind of the first hint at, or is there going to be X Men in ours? So it'd be interesting
Yeah.
to see if they're going to show him eventually.
It
Or
probably won't be for a while, honestly.
yeah, I hope not because I hope that I hope just leave Wolverine alone. Don't touch him.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm excited, and I really like that it said that, even though I didn't notice it the first time.
Yeah.
But,
I
but
mean,
yeah,
I'm a pretty big fan of Wolverine and of Hugh Jackman too, and I thought he just was perfect for that role, kinda like how, Robert Downey Jr. was for Iron Man.
yeah,
Like, no one else can be Tony Stark. So, like, I mean, I would personally love to see X-23 because she's
I
also a great character.
yeah, she's one of my favorites as well.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, and the actress that played her in Logan was fantastic, so
and
I
as
would
well,
love to see her.
she is the perfect age at the minute to play an older Laura because I think she's like 21 or 22. So I think that is the
Yeah.
perfect age to maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm just hoping for something because I don't want them to recast Wolverine. But yeah, it's
Yeah, I
interesting
mean,
because the thing that I'm nervous about She-Hulk for is because I really like because obviously it's her show. I don't want all the side characters, and and there's a certain character as well that is in it that is going to be in it that I don't want her to him should I say to overshadow I think you know who I'm on about. But yeah,
Yeah.
I don't want him to overshadow her because it is her show at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Be interesting.
Yeah. So that's actually kind of what I was about to get to. Um, but like after Holloway offers her the job, she ends up starting, and um, but the only catch is she has to show up as Jen or as She-Hulk in the office and in court, which she isn't so thrilled about.
My dog is barking. I apologize. No, no. I'm getting distracted by my dog. I apologize.
It's okay.
He's gone. I think it's your cat and my dog that just don't agree with us making videos. Right, let's make a noise.
I know. Like they just picked the perfect time to
But
make
you know,
noise.
oh yeah, what the distraction.
But anyway, so basically kind of the only reason that she thinks that she got hired was because she is She-Hulk now, and she's going to be leading the superhuman division in GLK and H. So we get introduced to another character, which is in the Dan Slott run, called his name is Pug, and I'm interested to see what they do with him. But I think the character that you were referring to was Abomination, correct? Yeah. So Holloway assigns Jen her first case, and she's kind of like blackmailed into it because he's like, if you don't take this case, you don't have a job, which kind of sucks because it's the case of the parole of Emil Blonsky, otherwise known as Abomination. So immediately she says, I have a huge conflict of interest because this man tried to kill my cousin, Bruce. And he's like, oh, that's all right. It's no big deal. Because apparently he's reformed now, and he signed all those papers saying that he wants Jennifer as his attorney. So she ends up going to the Department of Damage Control prison and visiting him before she makes her final decision. And I've found that scene pretty interesting because, like, this is the first time we've seen Tim Roth as Abomination or Emil Blonsky, and like over like it's been since like 2008 since we've seen him.
Wow.
And I think like this episode is like the first time that we've actually seen or that they've mentioned the Incredible Hulk movie. Like, so I think it's kind of like semi-canon now, like to the MCU, which is cool.
Yeah, which is, to be fair, it's about time. Because I feel like they kind of ignored everything about the Hulk, and I felt like personally with the Hulk started from like the first Avengers, and then just expected us to just assume his story from there, which
Mhm.
it's nice that they've included, the other stuff as well. So you get more of a, oh yeah, so that's where they're going with it.
Yeah. So when Jen starts talking to Blonsky, he's like, "Oh, you're expecting Abomination, right?" And he and she's like, "Yeah, well, I mean, they literally like talked her through all these security measures just before going in, and she's like, "Oh, it's that bad, huh?"
Mentally prepare yourself to what you're gonna say. And then you walk in and it's like, "Oh,
Yeah. But like
yeah, that's scary."
Blonsky goes on and says like, I'm I'm reformed now, and it's like I choose not to transform into Abomination, which I'm sure, like, given what we saw in the trailers, he will at some point. So it'll be interesting to see how they deal with his character. Like, so do you have any theories?
Um, I think obviously he will, and I think that is the 'cause as I said, I think that Bruce is gonna go full Hulk, and I think that he's gonna play a part in Hulk.
Mhm.
So maybe there's another Hulk. He, yeah, and maybe, or maybe Hulk and She-Hulk versus maybe. I don't
That
know.
would be a really cool fight to see.
Yeah, I do think that there's gonna be a big fight. I would like to see a big fight personally,
Hmm.
because again, I feel like a lot of Marvel stuff is uh, they use a lot of jokes and every now
Hmm.
and again, but that, for me, Marvel is I really like fight scenes and action scenes, and for me it
Hmm.
makes it a lot more interesting.
Yeah, same.
So yeah, but
What
I
I'm
do
hoping for,
think that it's going to go that way.
yeah, what I'm hoping for this show is like they can find a balance
Yeah,
between like the humor and the action stuff,
yeah,
because like we like from what we've seen in like some of the trailers, we see another character show up, and like we see Wong show up, and we don't really know why he's there, but I have a feeling that uh, he might bring more trouble into all this in some way. I mean, we don't know.
it's exciting.
Hmm. But I think ultimately Jen ends up kind of seeing Blonsky's side of things, and when he was explaining that the super soldier serum that the government gave him was like bad, and that it caused him to on that rampage in Harlem. So he's like, it wasn't personal, like my attack on Bruce. He's like, I thought I was the good guy. I was sent on a mission to stop a threat, and he thought he was gonna be like the next Captain America or something. So ultimately, like Jen said he had good arguments, and that's what she explained to Bruce when she called him on the phone before she called Holloway and said, "I'm gonna take the case."
Yeah,
And then like it was funny, like the whole phone conversation between Bruce and Jen. Like how she just kept going on and on. He was like trying to say something, and she just kept going, and then he just abruptly ends the phone call by like when he the ship flies into deep space. So we might not see him for a while. We don't know when we'll see him again. So hopefully soon. But again, I think it has something to do with it definitely has something to do with what happened on those 2 years on Sakaar in Ragnarok. Um, there's also some other theories that it could be setting up a World War Hulk or Planet Hulk
yeah, I've
or
heard
something.
that. I do think it could be as well. I can see it.
Yeah. It also relates to your theory about him going full Hulk
Yeah.
again. So
You honestly think that it'll end with, or like, even if it doesn't end, maybe just a little bit. I do think even for even just for like a short time, I do think he is gonna go full Hulk.
yeah.
Yeah.
And she's gonna have to maybe like
Stop it.
uh
Yeah,
stop him.
I do. I honestly think that's gonna happen.
Hmm.
What I've learnt with Marvel, not to read theories, not to hype something up so it gets
Yeah.
so back in my head. I think that it's 100% going to happen, and then it doesn't.
Yeah.
You're disappointed so much. So I'm not, but I do think that he will be up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
personally, I
yeah,
think that
every so like on our reviews on the last one, if he's not, I'll just be like, well, I was wrong. I was completely wrong. But yeah,
yeah, well, I I kind of hope that we'll get to see some glimpse of the old Hulk again because I kind of missed that.
yeah, like I like him. It's not like how he is now is fine, but I do prefer him as the Hulk because as well, I really miss and love his relationship that he had with Thor. So I think it'd be
Hmm.
cool if one day they met up again. But yeah,
Yeah.
that was very sad. Because also there was a thing about because all the original cast, like the original Avengers, like half of them have passed away or died, and then there's
Yeah.
him, Hawkeye, and Thor, and all the ones that are still here have someone, but he doesn't. But he does now because of She-Hulk, because of Jennifer. So he
Yeah.
was on his own on his little island.
Hmm.
I didn't realize that, so I think that that was really sad. Because if you
Yeah.
think Hawkeye has his family,
Hmm.
Thor, spoiler if you haven't watched Thor, if anyone's watching this, he has a little girl now,
Yeah.
uh, and now Hulk has She-Hulk.
Yeah.
But he was talking about that the other day, um, because I read it somewhere online that Hulk's one of the reasons that he finds it easier to be kind of less stressed is because he doesn't have uh, like a responsibility anymore, so he kind of can do his own thing, and obviously it's
Yeah.
his little island on his own. But yeah, I never
Yeah.
realized that. Yeah,
And it doesn't really have to deal with family drama, I guess.
yeah,
'Cause like that the family dinner scene in this episode too, like I just felt so bad for her. Like she definitely did not want to be there and they were just like kept criticizing her like I'm like, really? Um and also like the post credit scene for this episode, like her helping her helping her family doing just random stuff. I'm like, what? Oh my god.
yeah, that was good.
But honestly, like I said, this episode was definitely a lot better at like putting the story on a little further. And I hope that's the pace that they'll stay with for the rest of the season, but
Yeah,
we'll have to see. I mean, was there anything else that you wanted to mention before we you know.
What are you excited about, like, to happen? Or, I'll say who are you excited to see? I
Yeah, I mean,
was certain someone that I am really looking forward to seeing.
yeah, me too, and that is Daredevil, of
Yeah,
course.
like like, I'm waiting because I heard a rumor that he was gonna be in every episode, that is why you don't listen to rumors, people,
Yeah,
because it's not true. But I am really excited. I'm really excited.
me too. I can't wait. I'm just excited that he's like back
Yeah,
in Marvel and that it's Charlie Cox too. On top of all that, like oh gosh, I'm so excited just to see them interact and what that whole dynamic's gonna be.
I think it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be, yeah,
Not
it's
just because they're both lawyers, but like because like of how their characters are. So
'cause it's
it's
'cause I think it's hilarious because I can see them, like, in the courtroom as Matt and Jennifer, and
yeah,
then, like, completely, like, She-Hulk and Daredevil. It's just like, "Oh, okay." It's, funny.
yeah. I'm really looking forward to seeing how their interactions will be.
Because as well, I think his costume, is really interesting because we've never seen him in that costume.
Yeah,
I can't remember
it's
which issue it was from.
it's from like his first appearance, like in
Yeah,
the comics.
yeah,
Like
which I think's, I didn't expect actually.
I expected him to have the same costume as the Daredevil series, like the all red. But I think it's pretty cool that they brought that classic costume into it. So either way, I'm so excited.
Because which episode do you think he's gonna be introduced in?
Mm,
I think it's gonna be episode 4 onwards, maybe.
yeah,
Because I'll
yeah,
be really disappointed if it's the last like the final. Well, I
yeah. But
suppose so, but yeah.
I mean, I can definitely see them introducing him in the fourth episode because like usually like the trend that's been happening with all these Marvel Disney Plus shows is that usually like the fourth episode is like has most of the time has been like the best one.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. Um, but I mean, however many episodes they have him in, I'm just gonna be happy to see him. Although I do wish that he appears in most um, more episodes than just one.
Yeah, I'll be really a bit like, if he's in just one episode, if it's kind of teased that he's in it, and it's just one scene or it's one, I'll be a bit like,
Yeah,
because it'd be interesting if the Hulk becomes the Hulk and he's in a scene with Daredevil. That'd be interesting as well.
yeah, yeah,
That'd be interesting for Daredevil to fight Hulk. Uh,
yeah.
but yeah,
But just getting to see them interact with each other is what I'm most looking forward to. It'll be interesting. But just honestly, just getting to see the character of She-Hulk being brought to life like this, it's I honestly when they first announced that the show was being made, like I think was it 2019 that they announced the show or
yeah,
somewhere around there.
yeah.
I I was like, what?
Because I
Like,
was really surprised. I didn't expect it actually. So that was
mhm.
it's a nice surprise.
Yeah, so I've been so excited for the show. Like it was just really awesome just to see this character being brought to life, and I'm excited to see more. Okay. Um, well, that's kind of all I got for this episode review. For those who haven't seen the memo on my Instagram, I'm going to be doing this episode review like bi-weekly, so that means that it's not going to be every week. It's going to be like every other week or so, with doing 2 episodes per stream. And so the next one of these will be on September 10th. Still working on time for that, but it will. We'll be covering episodes 3 and 4. So hoping that they will also be very good episodes. So I'm excited.
Me too.
So that's pretty much all we got for today. Simi, thank you so much for
You're
taking
welcome.
the time to come and talk She-Hulk with me.
It's about time that we did this. There's so many shows that I'm like, oh, this is amazing. Like Moon Knight was a big one for me. Obviously Loki, like it's crazy. And
Yeah,
there's so many more. Why am I forgetting them all? Because there's too many. There's too many.
yeah.
And
There's
but yeah,
there was Hawkeye and Miss Marvel and
I haven't watched Miss Marvel yet, but I will. For it.
yeah,
There's too much to watch.
yeah, I know.
I will watch
And
it.
there's even more coming.
That's why I need to keep on track because there's more. But
I know.
I'm enjoying the TV shows at the minute a lot more than the films. Which I didn't think I would ever say that. But I
Yeah,
don't know. There's something about the films that I'm just not. I don't know. There's a big thing at the minute. There's a lot of complaints about CGI, and because they're creating so much content in so little time that they're overworking the
yeah,
artists stuff. I agree with it, and I don't think they should be doing that because they're making content for fans and they're feeling rushed. But
yeah,
I don't really care as well because it's still a show that hopefully I'll enjoy or a film that I'll enjoy. So yeah,
yeah,
it doesn't really bother me. It's kind of what you said. If you like it, I don't really care if anybody else doesn't like it. It should if
yeah,
you enjoy it, then you enjoy it, basically.
yeah.
Yeah,
And if
that's
you
how
don't enjoy it, then
you
just
like
don't
it.
watch it.
Don't watch it, exactly.
Yeah,
Because
like
with She-Hulk, I think there's a lot of men and males that just really don't like it just
yeah,
because she's a female and she's a female Hulk. And like
yeah,
straight away after watching the first episode, there's just comments going, "Oh, well, there's no way she's stronger than Hulk. There's no way she can do this." Like she's not saying that she can, and nobody's saying that she is stronger.
yeah,
She's just a version of Hulk that's female.
yeah,
That's what yeah. It's the same with any other. Like, say, if the X-23, is the Wolverine, that doesn't mean that she's Wolverine. It just
yeah,
means she's a variant, which is what the MCU are all about, or they're going to be all
yeah,
about. So I think a lot of people need to just accept it or don't watch it if you don't like
exactly.
it. I'm just like telling people off, like, go away. If you don't like it, I don't care. But
Yeah, at this point, I don't really listen to what other people say about it. I just watch it and form my own opinion and just not let others like put me down for my own opinion about a show or movie. So, and I don't think that we as in this community should be putting each other down for our opinions.
Yeah.
So, and I've been seeing a lot of that recently, and it's sad.
Because I'm excited as well because I've ordered a lot more She-Hulk stuff. Oh, by the way, I love your T-shirt. If that's your She-Hulk
Yeah,
T-shirt, I seen it on your live chat. I was like, "Oh, I need a She-Hulk T-shirt now." But yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I got it from Hot Topic.
yeah. Well, I'm from the UK and we don't have anything like
Oh,
really terrible. Like we don't have that store, and I see a lot of things. I think there's one called Hot Topic, and there's another one that you have, and the stuff that I see on there, we don't have that in the UK, and
oh,
it's really upsetting. Honestly, nobody moved to the UK. It's horrendous. There's nothing here. There's nothing here but rain, and yeah, nothing. And yeah, but it's a really nice T-shirt. What do you call it in America? A shirt,
T-shirt. Sure. I don't know.
yeah, or a top. So say like I call it a T-shirt or a top. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe it's weird. I don't know. But I ordered a lot more She-Hulk stuff, but I'm just waiting for the pop vinyl because they've released like a Hulk and a Jennifer, but I really
Yeah.
want a She-Hulk one, so
Me
I'm
too.
waiting for some She-Hulk stuff.
Yeah. And honestly, I've kind of started the process of making like a She-Hulk cosplay.
Yeah,
So
so that'll be really good.
yeah, so I got the the body paint and all that. So I'm gonna attempt to do that. That'll be interesting.
That'll take a long time to
Yeah.
yeah, that'll be good.
But we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, it's been nice.
All right. So like I said, next one of these streams will be September 10th. I'll let you all know what time. But I guess we'll see you next time. um, and thanks again, Simi, for joining.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. And we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.